happening right now? Oh my gosh. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I can't say welcome or welcome back because this is the very first YouTube video I'm ever putting out, so it's a welcome for everyone. I honestly cannot believe that this is happening right now. I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel and I put it on my annual goals list every year, and for some reason I just always come up with an excuse of why not to post on YouTube. But 2026 is the year that I've decided I'm keeping my promises to myself, and if I don't start now, then I never will. Something that I've been hearing is that the time is going to pass anyway, so I might as well at least try. And if I decide that I hate it, that's fine, but I'm at least gonna try. And I think trying is cool. Bring back trying. My name is Becca Fisher. I am 28 years old, only for another 5 more days. I turned 29 in like 5 days at the time of filming this, and I thought it would be super fun to chat, tell you guys a little bit about myself, who I am, what my goals are, what I want to share, and all of that good stuff. I made an afternoon iced latte for this occasion. This is just a decaf almond milk iced latte. I did start burning a candle for the vibes. I'm upstairs just hanging out in my office space, and I think this is going to be a great way to kind of kickstart my presence here on YouTube. So I live in Orlando, Florida. I work a 9 to 5 hybrid role, meaning that I go to the office a couple days a week, but the rest of the days I'm working right here from this desk. And in my free time, I like to train for marathons. I have a goal to run all of the world majors. I feel like it's hard to come across a runner who doesn't have that as their goal. Running the 6-star challenge has become like a really big thing in the running space, and it's definitely still something that I want to achieve. I've done 2 of the 6 so far, so lots more running hopefully in my future. As long as I am able to run, I will continue to run. And I've had this as my Instagram bio for as long as I can remember, like at least 10 years, if not more. But you will probably at any given time find me either running, thrifting, or at Disney World. Those are my most common like activities, things that I love to do, and like core tenets of who I am. But I've recently been going through a growth and transformation period in my life. I've been looking into the idea of a Saturn return a little bit, and I do think that I'm experiencing that in the astrological space. It's when the planet Saturn returns to the space, like in space, exactly to the same place where it was on the day you were born. And so this typically happens like from 28 to 30, I think. Anyway, I calculated my Saturn return and it is indeed happening now. So I feel like part of my decision to just start filming myself and do what I want to do is because I'm having all of these reflections and going through this growth and transformation in my life, and I finally got to the point where I needed to change my life. Something needed to change, and taking action is like the only way to cure that anxiety and that feeling of needing to change. So here we are. So obviously I'm a runner, right? Because I brought it up within the first 5 minutes of getting to know you. There's some great things that I've gotten from running that don't even have to do with the sport itself. And I think something that I have really taken away from it is the fact that it gives me confidence and momentum to do other things in my life. So for example, when I wake up and I run first thing in the day, it almost makes the rest of my day feel easier. It's easier for me to eat well because I feel like I don't want to waste a good workout or a good run. It's easier for me to handle stress of anything else that comes my way during the day, the workplace, whatever it may be, because I've already woken up and proven to myself that I can do something difficult and repeating that and continuing to run and be active is just, every time I do it, it's like a vote of confidence for me that I can do hard things, and it's like building my identity that I can do that. And I think that like discipline and constantly showing up for yourself from running that I've had has been able to translate into like other aspects of my life. And so that is one of the reasons for me that I really love it. Obviously, I love the friends that it's brought me, and I love the sense of accomplishment and the competition and wanting to better myself. All of those things are great side effects, but really at the end of the day, it comes down to running is able to teach me and prove to myself that I'm capable of doing hard things. And that brings me to my purpose here now, and I've defined that as creating a life that I love. And I've wasted so much time comparing myself on social media, making excuses for myself of why I can't do something, but the truth of the matter is that being ready isn't a feeling, it's a decision. Just the same as like feeling ready to go on a run or feeling ready to do a workout. You don't just, it's not a feeling, you just have to decide that you're going to do it and then put in the repetitions, and that's when the confidence comes in. Like right now, I have been putting this off for so long. It is a little weird, it's a little different. It's not something I'm used to, talking to a camera like this. However, I know that the more repetitions I put in, the more that I speak to the camera, the more that I film myself, the easier it's going to get. And so this concept of creating a life I love really for me boils down to like two really important factors, and then everything else kind of stems from that. So when I was kind of going through this like Saturn return, like I was really at a very low point mentally, and in my reflection and journaling and just like researching and really consuming a lot of other content around this, I was able to come to the conclusion that for me, health and fitness and finances are like the two important pillars in my life, that I've noticed if one of those is not doing so well, the rest of my life seems a lot more difficult. And when I'm thriving in both of those areas, my life seems to be a lot easier. Just kind of how I was mentioning before, like if I wake up and I do my run, it makes the rest of my day feel easier, and I get that momentum and I get the endorphins and I feel good and I'm feeding my body well and I'm making good choices on how I'm spending my money and what I'm doing. It kind of, everything for me boils down to having a really solid foundation of my finances and my fitness and health. I definitely identify as a highly ambitious person, and there are so many hobbies and things that excite me and inspire me in life that I just literally want to do it all. For example, I love going to the movies. I love cooking at home. I just got a sewing machine from my grandma and I really want to get into sewing. I also want to continue to run, and then I want to lift. I want to do high rocks. I want to do an Ironman. There are just an infinite number of cool hobbies and things to do. And for me, thinking about all of those things that I want to do, it's not going to be possible unless I really focus and narrow down like on the finance and my personal finance aspect of my life, because focusing on that is going to give me the freedom to be able to explore and do all of these hobbies that might also cost money. And so I think just thinking about the pillars of like fitness and health, and for mental health and also finance, as being the two most important things to enable me to be able to create a life I love, to be happy, to show up for friends and family, to have the excitement of life and want to try all these hobbies and do things. And just that to me is the most important, is just creating a life that you love. Part of that is needing to have discipline in your health wellness and financial wellness to be able to support the rest of your life. So I recently finished a 75-day challenge where I wanted to kind of use it as a kickstart to my discipline again. Like I mentioned, going through a little bit of a rough patch. I really wasn't working out. I wasn't eating right. I kind of had no motivation, to be honest. And so I created a 75-day challenge. It wasn't 75 hard. I made my own rules. I also didn't require myself to start over if I missed a day, because I realized that for me, consistency is better than perfection, and I don't necessarily want to just be doing the same thing every day, if that makes sense, but just overall having and reintroducing like the healthy habits that I want to continue. That challenge, I recently completed it. I feel like I have so much more discipline, and I've kick-started like my excitement for fitness. I'm running again, like 20 miles a week, which is great, going from 0. And I just feel like I've got that momentum now and I'm moving in the right direction. And I think that having like the clearly defined, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I had my goals that I wanted to hit every day, and just kind of forcing myself those first few weeks, even though I really did not want to do that, forcing myself to show up every day helped to kickstart that momentum. And once I realized how good I did feel and how good it was to read 10 pages every day, to exercise daily, to follow a diet plan, to eat well, it really just reminded me of how important all that is, and kickstarted again my motivation to continue that on. And it's been a few days since that challenge ended, and I'm still feeling like I'm making positive strides in that way, and I just feel like myself again. I feel like I've talked a lot about the fitness aspect at this point, so I do want to dive in a little bit as well on the financial side of things. So I would love to continue to film more videos and get a lot more into my financial journey and what that's looked like for me. However, up until this point, I have been in and out of credit card debt 3 different times in my life, and each of those 3 times I had to really focus in and do a really dedicated debt-free payoff. Until right now, I have kept that private, so even just admitting that, I feel like I was a little anxious to talk about it and bring it up, but the more that I am online, I'm seeing other people online posting and sharing about their journeys, sharing financial transparency and their debt journeys that they've been through. It's very inspiring to me, and it's something that I think financial transparency is really important, and it's something that I also want to contribute to in some way. So even just opening up and saying that I have been in and out of credit card debt to the point where I had to lock in on my finances, I had to do Uber Eats and Instacart in order to pay off credit card debt from buying things I didn't need. I want to admit that and be open and open up a window into my financial life a little bit. So this most recent debt payoff, this 3rd time, so I was in credit card debt up until December of this past year when I finally got out of it, and this last time is going to be the last time that I am in credit card debt. Something just feels really different this time after having gone through that. I don't know if that's like 3rd time's the charm mentality, but I feel like this time it's gonna stick because I have been able to set up systems for myself, and I just am so motivated to stay out of credit card debt. And I did do a lot of mental work and inner reflections, and I feel like I've really changed a lot of my spending habits. I think that financial transparency is so important. It's really something that I stand behind, because watching other creators and other people make that content, I didn't feel so alone when I was paying off my credit card debt and dealing with that. And it made me realize that a lot more people do go through that than you think. And it really gave me tools, and I learned so much. And I also just want to give back and contribute in some small way, even if that's just sharing and opening up about it. But I would love to, you know, share more again and open up that window, because personal finance is really personal. And I think there's a lot of it that until you really sit down and acknowledge it, it's easy to just ignore. And for me, it's just been this whole transformative, my whole mindset. I feel like I'm somewhat of a different person. And something else that I'd really like to focus on is personal finance within the Orlando community. I feel like Disney adults, from what I've seen somewhat online, they kind of get a bad rap of being financially irresponsible and spending all their money or going into credit card debt to take their families on vacation to Disney World, or people who live here spending all of their money on Disney merch. I feel like all the ears in the background in my video aren't really helping my case, but I guess I just really want to be inspiration and proof that you can still enjoy the theme parks and be a part of this space without compromising your financial future. And I think I want to have more of those conversations. All of this yapping to say that I really want this channel to feel like a place where we are learning and growing together. I definitely don't have everything figured out, but I want to share as I go, because I think that that's so fun, and I would love to just talk about it and again open up a window into my life. I really would love to share about my financial journey. I'd love to share running races, maybe vlogging, who knows. I'd love to share more of my thrift finds and DIY projects and just things that help me create a life that I love, because life is too short and we should be living lives that we love. And we deserve to not feel stressed about finances or not feel stressed about how we feel physically and mentally. I also have a pretty unique and specific sense of style, and I'd love to get into more of that and open up conversations about that. I really want to share about my net worth journey, because I think that that is really fun, and it will also be a source of accountability for me. There's something about being a little bit performative with things, and if you're posting it online, I've found it's a little easier to stick to it, because you have everybody watching you, or even if only one person's watching you, just knowing that you're putting it out there and having the accountability. I think there's something about being a little performative with it that really helps. So again, I'd love to share more about my financial journey, net worth journey, and I've always personally loved content that feels both aspirational but also attainable. And so that is also my goal, is to just be open and honest and share. You know, I love a good aesthetic and I love a good treat. Again, coming at it from the lens of, is this going to create a life I love, or am I just spending money on something because I feel like it's cute and I need it? Like, I have to have some discernment in my life, and I just want to share all of that and just open up more conversations and open up a window into my life. I wanted to share some quick fun facts about me. So I am the oldest child of 3 in my family. Growing up, I'm the oldest child. I have a partner, Dean, and we've been together for about 5 years now, a little more than that. My marathon PR is 4:06:10, and I am desperately chasing the sub 4. I feel like I've had it now and have lost it a couple times, but we can get into that. I've run the Dopey Challenge at Disney World, so marathon weekend. That's the 5K, 10K, half marathon, and marathon on consecutive mornings. I've run that 4 times. Next January will be my 5th time. I only wear neutrals, mostly black and white. We could talk about that more too if we want, but I'm a neutrals girly. And my favorite cuisine is Italian. I will eat a chicken parm every single night if I could. And I love pasta. If you've made it this far, genuinely thank you so much for spending some time with me and for getting to know me. I can't believe I've yapped for this long, and I can't believe that I'm officially closing out my first YouTube video ever. That's like crazy. But thank you for getting to know me. I'd love to get to know you a little more. Let me know in the comments, maybe a fun fact about yourself, maybe your marathon PR, a race PR, anything you want to share with me, drop it below. I'd love to get to know you, and subscribe if you want to stick around as I learn and grow and create a life that I love. Keep showing up for yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.